$20. At most grocery stores in America, a frozen dinner runs anywhere from $4 to $7, depending on which one you grab. So $20 buys you 3 of them, maybe 4, if you're careful. That's 3 or 4 meals, and you're hungry again an hour after each one. That same $20 spent differently buys you more than 20 meals, real ones, the kind that actually hold you until the next one. I'm a woman trying to lose weight on a budget, same as a lot of you watching this. And I have been told my whole life that eating healthy is expensive, that it's for people with more money than me. I want to tell you something today, and I need you to really hear it. That is not true. Healthy food is not expensive. Packaged food is expensive. And the difference between those 2 sentences is the difference between a grocery bill that works and one that doesn't. Let me show you 5 foods. Every one of them is in every grocery store in this country. You don't need a special store, a membership, or a car ride across town. And together, for one person, they come in well under $50. But before I name them, I need you to understand why this works. Because if you understand the why, you will never need another video like this one. There was a study done at the National Institutes of Health. Researchers took adults, put them in a controlled setting, and fed them 2 different diets. One made of ultra-processed food. One made of whole, simple food. Here's the part that matters. The 2 diets were matched. Same calories offered, same sugar, same fat, same salt, same fiber. On paper, identical. People ate more on the processed diet anyway, and they gained weight. Another trial a few years later found people ate roughly 800 more calories a day when they were eating processed food and gained more than 2 pounds in a short stretch of time. Sit with that. Same calories on the label, different outcome in the body. And I'm not asking you to take my word for any of this. Every study I mention is linked in the description. Go read them yourself. So if you have ever stood in your kitchen at 9 at night, staring into the cabinet, wondering what is wrong with you, wondering why you have no willpower, I have stood right there. And I want you to hear this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. You were eating food engineered to not fill you up. That's it. That's the whole problem. And the fix costs less than what you're spending now. Number 1, eggs. About $2 to $5 a dozen depending on where you are. Buy the 18 count if your store has it. That works out to somewhere around 20 to 30 cents an egg. 2 eggs give you about 12 grams of complete protein for under 60 cents. Nothing in that store beats that number. But here's the piece almost nobody tells you, and it matters enormously if you're older. When you lose weight without enough protein, a large share of what you lose is not fat. It's muscle. And muscle is what keeps you steady on your feet, keeps you carrying your own groceries, keeps you out of a walker. Egg protein is especially high in an amino acid called leucine, and leucine is the signal that tells your muscle to rebuild itself. Eggs also carry vitamin D and choline, both of which run low in a lot of older adults. Boil 6 on a Sunday. Leave them in the refrigerator. That is 6 breakfasts you don't have to think about. Number 2, dried beans or lentils. About $1.70 a pound. National average. A little more in some regions, a little less in others. 1 pound gives you around 13 servings. Do that math with me. That is roughly 13 cents a serving. A cup of cooked lentils gives you about 18 grams of protein. and about 15 grams of fiber. Now, fiber is the quiet hero of this whole thing. Fiber slows down how fast your stomach empties. That's the mechanism. That is literally what makes a meal hold you instead of leaving you hungry 90 minutes later. Most Americans eat around 15 grams of fiber a day. The recommendation is 25 to 30. One bowl of lentils closes half that gap by itself. Lentils don't need soaking. 20 minutes in a pot of water and they're done. Beans take longer, but they cost even less. Number 3. Old-fashioned oats. A big canister runs about $4 to $5 and will feed one person for close to a month. That's about 15 cents a serving. Oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. This is not a wellness claim, and this is a claim the Food and Drug Administration has actually authorized. About 3 grams a day of beta-glucan helps lower LDL cholesterol. It also forms a gel in your gut that blunts the blood sugar spike you'd get from cereal or white toast. That spike, and the crash after it, is what has you hungry at 10 in the morning. And if this is landing for you, subscribe. This is the whole channel. Real food, real prices, real research, no gimmicks. One rule, and please don't skip it. Buy the plain rolled oats in the big canister, not the flavored instant packets. Those packets are mostly sugar, and they cost about 3 times as much per serving. The plain canister is the cheapest thing in that aisle, and the best thing in that aisle at the same time. Number 4. Frozen vegetables. $1 to $2 a bag. About 30 to 40 cents a serving. I want to correct something you may have been told. Frozen is not the lesser choice. Frozen vegetables are picked at peak ripeness and frozen within hours, so the nutrients are equal to, and sometimes better than, so-called fresh produce that spent a week riding in a truck. For weight loss, the real advantage is volume. You can fill half a plate for pennies with something that is mostly fiber and water. The plate looks full. Your stomach registers full, and you didn't spend much to get there. And there's a money reason that matters even more on a fixed income. Frozen doesn't spoil. Nothing goes soft in the drawer. Nothing gets thrown out. Every cent you spend, you eat. Number 5. Canned fish, tuna, salmon, or sardines. Somewhere between $1.30 and $2 a can, one 5-ounce can drained gives you about 20 grams of protein. That's a full meal's worth of protein for the price of a candy bar. Canned salmon and sardines carry considerably more omega-3 fats than light tuna, and they include soft edible bones, which are a genuine source of calcium. One practical note: choose light tuna over albacore most weeks. It's cheaper, and it's lower in mercury. You get the better price and the safer choice at the same time, which almost never happens. So let's total it up for one person, for 1 week. A dozen eggs, about $3. A pound of lentils, about $2. A canister of oats, about $4.50, and that one lasts you a month. 4 bags of frozen vegetables, about $5. 4 cans of fish, about $6. That is roughly $20. $20 for the backbone of a week of eating, which leaves you about $30, under $50, for rice, potatoes, onions, and fruit. And I'm going to say the honest part out loud, because I think you deserve honest. This is not a complete diet by itself. It's the foundation. Build the rest around it. Now let me be straight with you about the other side of this. Say you eat one frozen dinner a day. At $4 to $7 a piece, that is $30 to $40 a week, sometimes more. and look at the tray. Those are small meals. You finish it, you rinse it out, and 40 minutes later, you're back in the kitchen looking for something else. So it was never $30. It was $30 plus whatever you ate afterward. Now look at what actually happened there. You spent $30, $35, $40 in a single week, and every last thing you bought was unhealthy. Not one item in that cart was doing anything good for you. That's the part I want you to sit with. It isn't just the money. It's the money and nothing to show for it. The $20 we just talked about does not work like that. A pound of lentils doesn't disappear in one sitting. A canister of oats lasts a month. Frozen vegetables sit in that freezer until the day you want them. Groceries stretch. Frozen dinners vanish. And I'm not going to pretend the cooking part is easy. Cooking for one person is boring some nights. You get tired. You get lazy. I do too. Everybody does. There are evenings when opening a box sounds a whole lot better than standing at a stove for 20 minutes. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you otherwise. So I won't promise you'll love it. What I'll tell you is that there's something you have to decide before any grocery list in the world can help you. What do you want out of the rest of your life? Because diets built on ultra-processed food show up again and again in the research, alongside weight gain, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Not in a week, not in a month, over years. That's the actual trade. Convenience now and a bill that comes due later, usually in somebody's exam room. You get to make that call. Nobody else can make it for you, and nobody should shame you into it. But make it on purpose, with your eyes open. Don't let a freezer aisle make it for you at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, when you're worn out. Decide first. The groceries are the easy part. Here's what I want you to take from this. You are not losing weight by eating less. You are losing weight by eating food that holds you. Protein, so your body doesn't burn muscle. Fiber, so your stomach stays full. That's the entire strategy, and it costs less than what you're doing now. The frozen dinner was never cheap. It cost you $4 to $7 and left you hungry an hour later. The bag of lentils cost you less than $2 and fed you for a week. If you take medication for blood sugar, blood pressure, or a heart condition, changing your eating can change how those medications behave. Tell your doctor what you're doing, not to ask permission, just so they can adjust with you. Start with one, just one. Buy the oats this week, or boil the eggs on Sunday. You don't have to overhaul anything. You've been told for years that this is out of reach. It was never out of reach. It was just on a different shelf. That line stuck with me while I was writing this. It was never out of reach. So I put it on a shirt. It was never out of reach. Once I focused on my goal. If you want one, the link is in the description. Now here's what I really want from you. This channel is for you no matter how old you are. 40, 60, 80. It does not matter. Living well and taking weight off is not something you age out of. So let's do this together. Tell me in the comments, what did you buy this week for under $50? What worked? What didn't? Where you are in your journey right now, even if right now is day 1. I'm somewhere in the middle of mine, and I'll tell you how it's going if you tell me how yours is. Somebody scrolling past is going to need exactly what you know, and they're going to find it, because you took a minute to type it. Let's help each other out. Subscribe if you want the next one, and whatever you do this week, Start with 1.